Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode is a roll narration. Me and my partner are starting standing. The hand fighting has already started, and we're going to try to get this fight to the ground as soon as possible. Here I have an underhook, quick little snap down, drag my partner down to the mat. This is one of my favorite takedowns. Okay, I know a lot of you, I'm going to rewind it here. I know a lot of you like to shoot the legs, which is very good, but another very underrated attack is the snap down. Okay, so watch here, I have an underhook, and you could see my partner's hips are very far back. You could see his legs are very far back. Whenever there's a huge gap between your lower body and your opponent's lower body, like so, it's a great time to drag them down. Okay, so kind of like mark the spot where I am. Look where I'm standing here. This little X here where my feet are, that's where I want to snap his hands down. So I'm going to backpedal. I'm going to backpedal in a circle like this, just here, and I'm going to try to snap his hands exactly where I'm standing, okay? So I'm going to try to snap his hands down. Now I'm going to whip him over. Don't underestimate the power of a very good snap down. It's one of the most important and safest takedowns you can do. Here's a headstand type pass. I like to headstand sometimes when I'm passing. Let me rewind that right there. Guys, if you do a lot of stability training like me and you're chest to chest like so, you can just kind of post on your head. Okay, when I do neck training, I do a lot of headstands, but to train my neck and my core and my lower body. And now you could see me, I'm pretty vertical. Once you're vertical, it is very hard for your opponent to use hooks, butterfly hooks, or even to regard. And from here, I can kind of slide into mount. And here, my partner's doing a good job of trying to hip escape here. He's getting onto his side, and he's trying to push my right leg inside his guard. You could see here, he's using both his hands on my thigh. He's trying to drive this elbow here in my thigh, and he's trying to deposit my right leg inside his guard, right? He's trying to push my right leg inside his guard. When he does so, look at his neck. His neck is completely undefended. If he's committing both arms to my leg, what's defending his neck? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so I like it when my opponents try to shove my knee back inside their half guard. They get on their side like so. I jump on their neck. When you jump on their neck, not only are you attacking a submission, this is probably one of my favorite submissions from mount. I just let them try to escape. And then when I grab their neck, they're in a deep guillotine. And not only are they in a deep guillotine, it actually makes the escape harder. Now, if my partner's going to try to escape, it's going to be really difficult. Because I now have a control over his head, you see he's trying to kip, he's trying to elbow escape. Now he's got to release my legs and start attacking my arms because my arms are choking him. It just makes the mount situation for the man on the bottom 10 times worse. And don't forget, if you control a man's head, you can control his entire body. You could see my partner here trying to kip left and right. The grip on his neck is really vicious. It's a very strong grip because there's nowhere really for him to kind of wiggle out. He's stuck between my weight and the floor. So there's not a lot of wiggle room for the man on the bottom. Whenever somebody tries to elbow escape or knee escape, jump on that neck. I cover it in Mount Made Easy. For those of you who want to see all the details on mount, make sure to check out that video. Here, my partner has an overhook and pushing me into the fence. If the man on the fence has the underhooks, it's going to be really tough to take a man on the fence down. So this is probably just him trying to set up Uchimata or something. But if the man on the fence has the underhook, it's really tough to take them down. Here we're doing a little hand fighting. There's a double leg shot and a spin. Guys, when I shoot a double leg, there are many types of double legs to shoot. I'm going to rewind this here now. One of my favorite double legs is a spin double. You can see I'm kind of facing the camera. Okay, when you shoot a double leg, a spin double, I'm going to finish with my back to the camera. So I'm going to shoot a double leg here, and I'm going to face my back to the camera. I'm going to kind of spin underneath his arm, and you're going to see me spin some more. Yeah, it's almost like a 360, actually. You're kind of curling around in a 360. And you can see my partner here. He's doing a really smart counter here. He's going into a buggy choke. Okay, so right here, I was thinking of going to side control, but since he's going for a buggy choke here, especially if they have the knee inside your hip, okay? If somebody has a knee inside your hip and you feel they're attempting a buggy choke, in my opinion, it's time to abandon ship, okay? You must back out. Like if I drive forward here, if I keep going forward and this knee is blocking my hips and he connects his hands, he could really sub me here, okay? It's quite a dangerous scenario for me. In my opinion, if you find yourself in this scenario, it's very wise to back out and relinquish the side control attempt. Okay, so you're going to see me here back out for sure. I don't want to get caught in a buggy choke. There's a lot of guys in the gym these days doing buggy chokes. I don't want to be a victim of one of those novelty chokes. Here I have my hips down, my head up in a floating guard pass. Then I'm going to switch to a hips up, head down. You know, you can always be switching head up, hips down, and then Oscillate to head up, hips down, hips up, head down. Here my partner's transitioning to Ashigarami. You can see here I'm trying to sprawl my right leg and I'm trying to underhook with my right side here. I'm trying to separate his upper and lower body. My partner's doing a very good job of transitioning to X guard here and creating elevation. He's trying to off balance me. Here's one of my favorite passes. Okay, this is what I call the GSP pass. I have a right underhook. Watch how I'm going to sprawl my right leg. Okay, so if I have a right underhook and we're chest to chest, my partner has any type of butterfly hook at all. It doesn't matter. Now he's kind of in a reverse butterfly hook. Watch how I'm going to sprawl my right leg. Once I sprawl my right leg, it just becomes really difficult for him to follow me. It's just a famous pass made, a pass made famous by Georges St-Pierre, a longtime friend, student, and training partner of mine. Fantastic pass. Here my partner's turtling. You could see I'm grabbing his right ankle. I'm going to go into a truck, of course. When I go into a truck, I'm going to bump into the fence. You could see here my neck kind of bending. So I'm going to lose my hooks here probably. No, I'm still able to recover. My partner has a 2-on-1. You could see this is very common. Okay, so when you take somebody's back, they grab a 2-on-1 on your hand. They want to kind of pass the hand from one side of their head to the other. Okay, whenever this happens, I highly recommend you pull in the opposite direction. Okay, so I take my left hand and I start pulling in this direction. You're going to see me pull in the opposite direction. And if he holds on to me, like he's doing so, that's going to expose his elbows. Look how his elbows are up. Whenever I take somebody's back, I want to pull their elbows up and away from their knees. And I want to pull their knees in the opposite direction. So I want to open their midsection. I want to create as much space in their midsection as possible. I want to open them up. The more I open them up, the more I weaken them. And of course, if we go belly down here, I have a spine lock. Okay, so watch here. Look how I'm attacking his elbows. Look how I'm sending his elbows north here with my right hand. I'm using my hooks to push his knees in the opposite direction. I'm trying to create the biggest gap I can between his upper body and his lower body. Okay, between his upper limbs and his lower limbs. Now from here, all I have to do is drive my hips into the ground. And here you're going to have a spine lock. Okay, not a very well-known submission, but believe me when I tell you, if you're in one of these, you're going to want to tap. Okay, unless you don't want to keep your spine functional, you're going to tap here. It's a very dangerous little submission. I wouldn't go super hard, of course. Not something I recommend you guys do in the practice room too much. I was just kind of being playful here. But it is an actual legitimate submission. Okay, spine lock, very dangerous maneuver. You don't want to be too rough when you put a submission on a spinal cord. Here my partner's pulling guard, Ashigarami, little trip. Here I'm grabbing his neck. I'm pulling one of my own Ashigaramis. And you can see here, look, whenever I grab an Ashigarami, I always go underhook. See my left hand here? It's underhooking. I want to pick up this ankle as high as possible. I want to take this ankle and I want to pick it up higher than his hips. If I get this ankle up higher than his hips, I'm really cooking. Okay, so let's see how we can go about that. Okay, so watch here. Look how I'm getting his ankle as high up as possible. One of the most important elements of this maneuver is putting your left foot on the hip. Because I'm pushing his hip away from me, it really makes this leg really light. Okay, so I don't want these hips coming up on top and hovering over me like I was doing to him earlier. Okay, I want his hips far and away. That allows me to pick my back up off the mat. Okay, I want to create elevation. I want my lower body as high up as possible. I want his ankle as high up as possible. And I want his hips as low and as far away as possible. Okay, so watch here. I'm getting his ankle up as high as possible. And from there, I release it and take his back. Okay, that was a little bit quick. I'm going to rewind here. Let me rewind. Okay, so here we are. Let's go frame by frame. So now that I've elevated his ankle, look how I spin underneath him. I kind of go into a reverse butterfly guard. I kind of extend his legs away from me. I start climbing to his back. And from here, I have a back attempt. From here, I'm going to shrimp, take his back. Here, I'm probably going to go for Kimura. Guys, make sure to check out Kimura Made Simple, top game position. Super important video. Whenever you get the Kimura like this, I don't care if the guy underneath you is a black belt. Okay, whenever you grab a Kimura, and I have a Kimura right now, they always lock their hands together. See how they lock their hands together? They have to lock their hands together. If they don't lock their hands together, they're going to get Kimura'd, right? But look at his neck. There's nothing defending his neck. I'm going to use my legs in a scissor choke, and I'm going to choke his neck using my legs, okay? Now, you're never going to get this scissor choke. I'll tell you why you'll never get it. Okay, if you do it properly, it's going to cut the blood flow to his brain. But all the guy has to do on the bottom is release his hands and kind of unlock my feet. If he unlocks my feet, he's going to save himself from the choke. But don't forget, If he unlocks my feet, I now have a Kimura. Because what's stopping me from Kimuraing him? Not right now. It's his hands are locked. Well, look how he went to separate my feet. Let's go back here. Look how his hand went to separate my feet. Again, if the guy's a black belt or a white belt, he's going to do this maneuver. He's going to want to unlock my legs because look at his face. It's kind of turning red here. As soon as he unlocks his hands, I'm going to put my head on the mat and I'm going to roll over the top and I'm going to go for my Kimura. So it's either he chokes or gets Kimura. I will tell you that in my experience, everybody opts for unlocking the scissors. Everybody, like 100% of the time, people try to unlock the scissor choke. Okay, my partner has an underhook. A little snap down attempt by him. Pulls guard. He's got an ankle to ankle position here. He's pummeling his legs in nicely. See, he's always going to Ashigarami and then X guard. It seems like he really wants to play X guard. Here I drag his leg across. My partner's switching to 50-50. I think that's a very good option. Absolutely a very good option. Here we're in 50-50. And here you could see my partner. His hips are stacked over his head. I consider this to be a major mistake. Okay, I cover this in 50-50 made simple. You never want to stack the bottom man. You never want your hips stacked. If you stack your hips, the guy on top, he has a lot of, look at this. Look at this. This is a really dangerous position for my partner on the bottom. His hips are stacked over his shoulder. I explained how you want to shrimp your shoulders farther back and you want your shoulders out all the way out here. Okay, not an easy thing to do now that you're stacked, but that's something you have to do immediately when you go to 50-50. Now it's just really easy for the man on top to just pull his leg out. If the man on the bottom is stacked, it's just like you have no connection to the leg. My partner's kind of attempting a little wrestle up there. Here, I'm jumping on the neck here, diving guillotine. From a diving guillotine, my partner gets to his knees here. I'm probably going to try to sweep. Oh, my partner is exposing his back, and I'm taking the back right into mount. Here, my partner's trying to Granby roll. And I think that's the end of the round. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, share, comment, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you.